This is Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review with your CFL Week 18 preview. We're down to the last 3 weeks of the Canadian Football League regular season as the push for the playoffs heats up. Everyone trying to jockey for position. As always, we're going to break down all 4 games. Let's start with Hamilton, Ottawa, Friday night. The Ticats 3 points behind the Red Blacks for first place in the East Division. Realistically, if they have any chance of winning this division, Hamilton, they have to win this game. They lost to Ottawa at home 30-29, had a chance to win that game, but a Brett Maher missed field goal for Hamilton in the last minute cost them an opportunity for the victory. Going to be some issues for the Ticats to overcome injury-wise. They may be without linebacker Keon Raymond. They may be without Andy Fantuz at receiver, and they are going to be without receiver/kick returner Brandon Banks, suspended for 2 games earlier this week for violating the anti-drug policy of the CFL. So he's going to miss this game. But Kendall Lawrence is a guy that they just picked up couple weeks ago from Edmonton, Saskatchewan. He'll be taking over the kick return duties. He's a very capable fill-in, so I don't think it's as huge a loss as maybe some think. They're going to miss Brandon Banks, obviously. He is he brings that much energy to the team, but Kendall Lawrence more than capable of doing a good job. Really the question here is, can Ottawa finally get things turned around at home? If you've been betting Ottawa at home this season, you're not doing very well. That's to put it mildly. 2-4-1 straight up, 1-6 against the spread for Ottawa. In 7 home games at TD Place this season. That's not very good. Last week's game between these two teams, down to the wire, hard fought, went back and forth. I think this game is the same. So, plus 3.5, plus 4 with Hamilton. Probably taking the points with the underdog is my preferred way of looking at this game from a betting perspective. Next up on Friday, we've got Toronto-Calgary. I'm going to keep this preview of this game very brief because there's not much really that has to be said. It's an impossible game, and as far as I'm concerned, to bet or handicap. Calgary's locked in to first in the West. They've got home field advantage right through to the Grey Cup. There's nothing they can do in terms of advancing their position in the final 3 weeks of the regular season. So you are going to see Dave Dickenson play some of his backups. We don't know for how long or which games we're going to see those backups, but it's a very tough team to bet right now. Calgary, you just don't know if the focus and the intensity is there down the stretch of the season. We're talking about a 16.5, 17-point favorite. Calgary's more than happy winning this game by a field goal, or 6 or 7. They don't want to go out there necessarily win by 17 points. The problem is on the flip side, Toronto, they're an absolute train wreck right now on the field and off the field. Receivers kicked off the team. Coaches getting frustrated. A situation where, the team is just brutal right now on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Drew Willie injured means that Ricky Ray is going to return at starting quarterback. He's still probably the best quarterback Toronto has, but he's been out for so long. Is he going to be sharp right away in his first game against a pretty good Calgary team? Toronto's been blown out, losing by margin on a weekly basis. I can't trust them, so I can't lay it with Calgary. I can't trust Toronto. It's an easy pass for me. All right, Saturday, Montreal taking on Saskatchewan. First of the 2 games on Saturday. Saskatchewan's finally starting to get priced like that red-hot team that they are. If you look at hottest teams in the CFL, you look at Saskatchewan's record, you see they're 5-10 on the season. You may not think on the surface it's Saskatchewan, but it is Saskatchewan. They've been playing very good football as of late. They've won 4 straight games. They're 7-0 ATS. In their last 7 games, 7 straight point spread covers for Saskatchewan. But you look at the price range, they were underdogs and a pick'em in every single one of those 7 point spread covers. Now they're in a completely different price range. We're talking about laying a full touchdown. They got to win by more than a touchdown to cash a ticket in this game. But are they capable of doing it? Absolutely, because I don't know how anyone has faith in this Montreal Alouettes team. It's just been a horrendous season for them. They had one good game when Jacques Chapdelaine took over as head coach. They got a little bit of a spike in energy for that game. They blasted Toronto 38-11, but since then, back to the same old pathetic, struggling Montreal Alouettes. They lose by 20 against Edmonton, outgained by 189 yards in that game. 22-8 loss to Calgary last week, outgained by 173 yards. Now they're undergoing a quarterback change. Rakeem Cato who's been the starter most of the season. He's not going to start this game. They're going with former Oregon Ducks quarterback Vernon Adams Jr., dual threat quarterback, making his first CFL start here. Not sure I'm ready to trust him in this situation on the road against clearly a Saskatchewan team that, even though they're out of the playoffs, they're playing hard. They want to win games down the stretch. They've made it clear, and they've shown it by their play on the field. And Montreal didn't just beat Saskatchewan back in July when these teams last met in Montreal. They blasted them 41-3. A little revenge angle on Saskatchewan's side here. I cannot endorse Montreal, first-time starting quarterback in the CFL. I know Vernon Adams had a solid career at Oregon, but starting in the CFL, totally different style of playbook. Going to be a challenge for him. I lean to Saskatchewan, but I'm not convinced that the value is there anymore. I've been riding the Rough Riders a lot. We've had them on Play of the Week here in the CFL on these videos quite a bit, but I think the point spread value is finally starting to slip away with this Saskatchewan team. So I'll lean to Saskatchewan, but not sure I'll be pulling the trigger on a bet there. Edmonton, BC to wrap up this video, and this is going to be our Play of the Week, by the way, in the CFL this week. If you've watched BC, they've for the first time all year, they've lost 2 games in a row, both of them against Winnipeg. That's the first time they've done that. They had been avoiding 2-game losing streaks all season long. But you now look at this BC team since they had their bye week, which was in early September. The defense has really come unglued, especially their pass defense. Their secondary is dealing with cluster injuries. Stephen Clark is out in that secondary. Ronnie Yell is out in that secondary. TJ Lee is also injured. 3 key members, starting members of that BC secondary are out of the lineup due to injuries, and it's shown. I mean, this BC pass defense, it's really been gashed in their last 4 games. They've given up 27 to Edmonton, 33 to Ottawa, even though they won that game, 37 to Winnipeg, and then 35 to Winnipeg in the rematch last week. So you're talking about a team that's given up 27 or more points in 4 straight games. Not very good on the defensive side of the football, and I'm not sure it's going to get better for BC here because you're playing one of the best passing attacks in the CFL. Mike Riley, Edmonton quarterback, is on a fire right now. He's playing his best football right now of the season. Look at Edmonton's point totals, 27, 40, and 40 in their last 3 games. Darrell Walker, Darius Bowman, Chris Getzlaff, a boatload of receivers. Now they signed Vidal Hazelton from the Argos, another weapon to that receiving core. They're going to be tough for BC to stop them, but on the flip side, BC's offense continues to be very, very potent themselves. Jonathan Jennings has had some issues with interceptions lately, and in fact, BC's had a major issue with turnovers. Turnovers have killed BC in their last 2 games against Winnipeg. Could have won both of them, but they turned the ball over far too much in each of those losses. We'll see how they fare here. They lost to Edmonton just a few weeks ago in Edmonton by a score of 27-23, so a little bit of revenge here. But you look at this Edmonton team, 3-0 straight up, 3-0 against the spread. Their last 3 games, they're red hot. BC's not, so a little reluctant to back BC. I lean to the Lions in this game, trying to avoid 3 losses in a row. But Edmonton's on fire, and I'm not sure I'm anxious to go against them right now. I think the better bet in this game is the bet that we're going to make it official as our CFL Play of the Week for Week 18. I see points, I see big plays, I see quick strike touchdowns in bunches taking place in this game. Again, it's in BC, indoor stadium, so this fall/winter weather in Canada certainly won't be an issue in this game. I think we see another high-scoring shootout, and it is worth noting, Edmonton 2-0 to the over their last 2 games, BC 3-0 to the over in their last 3 games. I think we see more of the same here. Let's take BC and Edmonton over 57.5. BC Edmonton over 57.5. I expect a high-scoring showdown in the West between the Eskimos and Lions on Saturday. All right, that wraps up my look at CFL Week 18 from a betting perspective. I'm Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review.
Always on the go? Bet365 has one of the top mobile platforms in today's market. Sign up today and don't let your busy life keep you out of the game.